This is the second video on algebraic fractions for your 10 higher classes. What I'd like you to do is read the knowledge organiser, watch this video and work through the examples on page 1, try the questions from page 2 and complete any maths watchwork set. So today you will be adding algebraic fractions. To do this, we're going to follow the same process as when you're adding normal fractions. So you find a common denominator, and whatever you multiply your denominator by to do that, you do the same to your numerator. So if we have a look at this question here, our common denominator of 3 and 4 would be 12. You can find that by multiplying these together or by looking for the lowest common multiple of both numbers. What we then do is, whatever we multiply our denominator by, we multiply our numerator by. So in this case, it's been multiplied by 4, so we go 4 brackets x minus 2. And in this case, it's been multiplied by 3, so we go 3 brackets 2x plus 3. What we then do is, we put them all over a single fraction, and we rewrite that calculation out. Now, there is a reason for doing this. The reason for that is, if this was a takeaway sign in the middle and we just expanded those brackets out immediately, there's a chance you'd make a mistake when you were adding or subtracting the numbers together and they're collecting like terms. So we write it like this to minimize that. The other reason is, your first mark is for showing that you have a common denominator, and you don't have to do any multiplication to do that. You just write it as in brackets and you get that mark straight away. So we then expand our brackets. So if we expand our brackets, we get 4x minus 8, add 6x plus 9 all over 12, and then we collect like terms. So we get 10x plus 1 all over 12, and that's all we have to do for that problem there. Now the next problem is a little bit more difficult, but we follow exactly the same steps to do this. If you notice, we have our fractional terms as a denominator. So we do the same thing. We find a common denominator, and we can do that by multiplying these together. So what we're going to do is we're going to have x plus 1, x minus 2 as a common denominator for that fraction, then x plus 1, x minus 2 as a common denominator for that fraction. Now if we're doing this, what happens is we multiply this side by x minus 2, so that becomes 2x plus 1, x minus 2, and we multiply this side by x plus 1, and that becomes 3 brackets x plus 1. We then have our sign in the middle, the same as what we had in before. Now what we have to do is do the same next step, which is we combine this into a single fraction. So we're going to have our x plus 1, x minus 2 here. We're then going to have 2x plus 1, x minus 2, take away 3 brackets, and I'm just going to make a correction here, that's a minus. I've just made a mistake there, that should be a minus. My apologies, I've just misread that. X plus 1. So make sure that common misconception that I've done there is a really common error in these problems. You just misread a sign and it changes your answer completely. So I've just misread that and I've spotted it here before I've done any calculations. But if you haven't spotted it before you've done any expanded the brackets, it'll completely change your answer. What we then do is we expand these brackets on the left. Now if we expand these brackets on the left, what happens is we get 2x squared minus 5x plus 2. And then we get minus 3x minus 3 all over x plus 1, x minus 2. Now if we have a look at this, we don't need to expand the denominators brackets, but we do have to expand and simplify these. Now notice, because there's a minus here, this becomes minus 3x take away 3. That's the reason why I said it's important you write it like this, because if you just expanded those brackets and had a takeaway, the likelihood is you would have done minus 3x plus 3. This comes from going 2x times x is 2x squared, minus 1 times x is minus x, minus 2 times 2x is minus 4x. They add together to give you minus 5x, and then minus 1 times minus 2 gives you 2. What we then do is we simplify our numerator. So we get 2x squared minus 8x minus 1 when we do that, because we take our 3x off that to get minus 8x and our minus 3 from 2 to get minus 1. And then you can just leave your denominator like that, and that is the question solved. What I would like you to do is use these examples to help you complete the questions from the second page of the Knowledge Organiser and any Maths Watch work set by your class teacher. Thank you.